All right, Ambitions fans, and I hope that by the time I put this video up on the YouTube channel, I will have added the Ambitions like opening, which is only about 20 seconds long. If I didn't, it's because I had other things on my plate to do. But if I added the intro, then yeah, I'm not lazy. But this video is kind of a follow up of my initial episode review, which I did this weekend. I know it was late, but look, Veronica's possibly dead, even though I don't think she is, and I had to do videos that would bring in the views. Is what I do for a living. But I wanted to do another video following up on my initial review because that review to me, it's got over 1,000 hits. So I mean, that was good. Obviously that video was not my best, and when I say that, it's because I wanted to give my raw reaction as opposed to a, you know what, I've watched and analyzed every single second of this episode, so here's like 3 pages of notes. It's more of a, let me just talk from the top of my head and see what happens. I've watched the episode 3 times already because Ohm put it on their YouTube channel. I don't know if they're going to do it each week. Honestly, I think that would be pretty dang cool, not only for people who don't have OWN because their cable providers dropped OWN from their packages for whatever reason, so most people might not have the accessibility to it. I mean, yeah, there's the Watch OWN app, but YouTube, aside from the ads, there really aren't commercials. So I appreciated that, the fact that I can like jump from like, oh, you know what, I'm at 2 minutes 30 seconds, but there was one part at the 30-minute mark I wanted to see, so I can just jump ahead instead of just, oh, I gotta endure like 2 minutes and 47 seconds of ads before I get to the part I want to, like on the Watch OWN app. So I did appreciate it, and like I said before, as a content creator, I think that's pretty cool because have and have nots is like hot. There are 2 episodes. Dang, that's right. Tomorrow's the 25th, and then next week, July 2nd, that's the end of this season, and then it's going to go on break for I don't know how long, but they'll probably tell us soon. And obviously with the finale coming up, there's a lot more content for me to talk about, so I'm probably going to have more have videos than usual. And Ambitions, while I'm intrigued, it's like, well, the haves and the have nots is really getting a lot of traction now. So during the weekend where I kind of slow things down, I think that's a good time to say, you know what, I've done a huge majority of my have content. Let me watch this other show so I can give it my full attention, because I honestly, I can't do both shows in one sitting. It's way too much drama for me. Not to mention, I need a break in between shows. But for Ambitions, let's just talk about the episode again. This isn't any kind of like organized format. What I want to do is point out several things that I either didn't mention in my episode review or things I didn't really catch until my second time watching it. Basically, I think that for one, there is some controversy amongst fans. Some people just automatically don't want to watch it because of the explicit sexual content, like, booty licking and stuff like that. And then, a lot of different suggestive scenes, like, what's her name? Lori licking Carly's lips in the bathroom. And then, Bella and Evan at the end of the episode. And yeah, Robin Givens and Titus in the tub. So I think they were all together like what, maybe 4 to 5 sexual scenes like that. And my argument was the whole, well, if loving you was wrong's very first scene, aside from an overview of the neighborhood block and people getting on the school bus, going to work, we go to the shed, and the first thing we see of our main character, or two of our main characters, Alex and Randall, is them going at it in the shed. And it's like, well, and man, I get it, like, because trust and believe, this before I even watched the first episode in its entirety, remember last Tuesday I had some storms, so I only watched a majority of the haves and have nots, bits and pieces of Ambitions, then had to like stop everything because the Wi-Fi was really bad. And then around 3 o'clock in the morning, that's when things were fully operational, so I was able to watch the episode. And I was reading, Twitter and everything before I finished the episode. A lot of people are like, man, there's more sex in story and this and that and yada, yada, yada. So that almost fed my opinion before I actually watched the full episode. And really, not that bad, but I can definitely see how that will be distracting, especially when you get to the gala scene and everybody's sitting at their dinner tables and everybody's looking at the person they want to screw. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat that. You got what? Juniper, which is Hunter's wife, looking at Titus and Stephanie looking at Titus, Evan looking at Bella, Carly looking at Lori. I might have missed someone, but I think that's a good amount of be established who's going to be screwing who. And I think another thing I actually took note of from some people's comments, and I actually agree. And when I'm mentioning these things, guys, I'm not saying that this made me dislike the episode. It's just some things I really didn't pay attention to my first time around, and before I did my episode review. Because when I did the episode review, that was after my second time viewing the episode. A lot of the drama was already established and we were kind of thrust into it because based off the all access scenes and whatnot, Greg Peters, I thought him and Rondell, their first scene very intentional. He comes in, he walks into a knife intentionally, and he gets stabbed a little bit while taunting her, and then he leaves. First of all, I hope she threw away that knife. I know she kind of like wiped her like a napkin or apron or whatever. I know she was slicing pie and then ended up slicing him, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a health code violation if you don't throw that knife away. But in any case, I was really hoping that we would have seen kind of the initial meeting between the two in regards of him wanting to destroy the restaurant for neighborhood restoration for his construction project, and Rondell not wanting to do it because it's a family business. And I think in my episode review I really said it reminded me of Barbershop 2 back in business when Calvin didn't want to sell his father's barbershop, and Evan obviously is the mayor and that's his sister, so you got the conflict of family versus propelling his career to the first black governor of Georgia. And then of course Stephanie and her family look at him as a bottom feeder and things like that. So I was really hoping we would have seen some of that building up as opposed to just being thrust into it, because looking at the Dern all access special, it almost seemed like Rondell and Greg would have some kind of like flirtatious tension between the two almost. I mean, I kind of felt it there, but it's almost like man, it's more like a deadly kind of thing as in terms of sexual tension kind of thing. It's hard to tell with these two, but I really do feel like I really would have wished we've seen some of the development of that tension as opposed to being thrust right into it. And the same can be said of various other, I guess you could say, villainous factions or rivalries in the actual story. But I feel like maybe it's one of these shows where as the season goes on, we might get more background or maybe even flashbacks to certain events that happened. Like, I know it's only episode 1, but I would love to see like young Stephanie and Amara in college, and how that the friction between them started, like when they first met, when Amara was first pledged, to when she took Titus from Stephanie and things like that. So I don't look for that to be shown to us anytime soon, but hopefully maybe as the season goes on, that would be great to get into. Stephanie, Robin Givens is 54, but she can still play the mentality of the daddy's little princess, daddy's little girl who wants everything perfectly. Like, I really did like that scene with her and her father, but I just really hope it's not one of these scenarios where we have a loving father who's going to be usurped by their power hungry child. It reminds me of A Family That Prays, I believe, and Robin Givens was in that movie, and it was actually the white guy who wanted to take the company over from his mother, portrayed by Kathy Bates, I believe is her name. Hang on. Oh, and also you hear my chair creaking, but Lord willing, the new computer chair I finally bought should be here on Wednesday. So I shouldn't have to worry about that anymore. This chair is 2 years old. Oh, sorry, actually, I'll remember how I posted in the community tab. I had a full list of DVDs I bought from Walmart, and A Family That Prays is actually, oh yeah, I was right, Kathy Bates. She played Charlotte. Yep, Kathy Bates. But in any case, I do like the dynamic between Stephanie and her parents. And once again, it was only the first episode, so there was only so much that could be told in the 40-some minutes we had. Obviously, her and Carly. Speaking of Carly, what was it when her and Lori, who is very attractive, and I looked her up because it was eating at me like, I know I saw that face somewhere before. I believe her name is Lori Juniper, the daughter of Hunter and, no. Lori Beautiful. Crap. And I said the name great in the episode review. Basically, Hunter and Juniper, the ones who donated $500,000, their daughter Lori, who saw Carly in the bathroom, and it's like, wait. you made it seem like it's the first time the two of you have met, and then all of a sudden you know that Carly is into girls and not living her truth. And I'm like, how did you even know that? Huh. Weird. I mean, I get it. Oh, what if it's like a Romeo Juliet situation, except it's Juliet, two lovers from opposing families or something, or maybe Lori is playing Carly in order to mess up the Lanchester somehow. It's probably like an inside job, so to speak, no pun intended. That would be interesting, but like I said, it just seemed a bit fast paced. It's like, wait, how did you know that she was into girls and not boys? Because at the beginning of the episode, they talked about how Carly was seeing the son of another powerful family and they liked them together, but it's like, it's not that serious. And, you really don't get the vibe that she's into girls. It's more like Carly might not be into this relationship as much as her parents think that she should be. It's like, we get the gist of her parents wanting her to be into a legal degree instead of theater. And it's like, her not being full on in a relationship with the boy that they think he's right for her. She doesn't want to talk about it. So I didn't expect her to be, into girls. But, like I said, it was just kind of a like, wait, now that I go back and look at that scene, it kind of didn't make sense. And then the girl playing Lori, Christina Kirkland, I believe is her name, because I gave up and I looked up her name and I'm like, oh, she was in All That. And I'm like, that's crazy that I recognize her face, because remember, I was born in 91 and she was in the later seasons of All That. I'm like, yo, she still got that same sass. Yeah, Christina Kirkman. I can't believe I remember that name. But in any case, let's see here. Aside from that, there were some characters we didn't see, like Rondell and Evan's parents, because I know their father's portrayed by the same actor that played the Colonel on Meet the Browns, the TV show. And yeah, we got a lot of there was a lot of exposition. That's why my episode review was kind of all over the place. I didn't take notes because I just wanted to review it fresh off the memory, and I know next time not to do that. Erica Page, beautiful as Bella. She is just wow. Let's see here. This video was just like, initial leftover thoughts from rewatching the episode several times. I get the debate about the sexual content. Like, trust me, if it gets to the point where it's just is more sex than story, I might stop watching because, But I know a lot of people are saying that, the show, I've never been a big Robin Givens fan or this and that. I think she did pretty well. Like I said, I want to be sympathetic for her character rather than seeing her being the same power hungry, Mongol she is in almost every movie she's portrayed in. I want to see how she potentially becomes head of her father's firm. But then you have Amara taking that case, which possibly will bring down Evan as mayor and possibly run over into the Lanchester somehow, because trust and believe, that's how these stories usually go. They're gunning for one person, but next thing you know, it might end up bringing down a whole lot of other people. So, what if Stephanie gets that divorce in order to be with Titus or something like that? There's just so many scenarios that can happen with this. But, I think it was a pretty good episode. Tomorrow night is episode 2. Not sure if I'm watching live. We'll have to wait and see. It depends on the haves and the have-nots and the weather. Matter of fact, let me check it right now on my iPod, because if it's storming, I hope it's not. I know it's supposed to be in like the 80s, 90s all week. Tuesday, like high 80s, supposed to be clear in the evening at nighttime. So hopefully I'll be able to make it to watch the episodes. Knock on wood here, but I actually got a meeting at 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Somebody from a company here in Lynchburg wanted to talk to me one-on-one in regards to my YouTube channel. I think it's not to jinx it, but I think it was one of those things where they saw the article in the newspaper about me a couple weeks ago, and they just wanted to link up in regards to, some social media tips and whatnot. So it is literally right across the street at Kroger at the Starbucks, and they're 9 o'clock in the morning going to talk for a bit. So yeah, I mean, I figured I'd just take the meeting because, again, I need to get out, talk with more people as opposed to just being by myself. And I really need to get this sleeping pattern back on track, because Wednesday at 9 a.m. is that meeting. Friday, 8:30, I got to go to court for that ticket thing because, I don't have to go, but I want to go contest it as opposed to just paying it off, because I feel like I got a strong case. So, Lord willing, I am able to wake up early Wednesday and Friday, and then the weekend I'm just going to be knocked out. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on Ambitions. I will be doing episode 2 review. I don't know if I'm doing trailer breakdowns though. I don't know yet. I feel like the show's a bit too young for me to establish if it's going to be one of those shows where I'm going to be doing blow by blow theory videos. Like last week, I did those 3 initial episode leaks because Ohm put out the little clips, but that was more like a test the waters kind of thing to see how the views would go before and after the episode aired. So we'll just have to wait and see, guys. I don't really know how in depth I'm going to be doing Ambitions, especially with the fall coming up and we have all of these Tyler Perry shows coming out on BET Plus, and then even more content from Will Packer and the other directors as well. So yeah, it is a blessing to have so many options to talk about. So thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on Ambition. You know, like, will you continue watching, or was the first episode like, you know what, I didn't really care for it that much. It's decent, but it's not my cup of tea. That's completely fine. Like I said, I'm going to wait until about episode 3 to decide whether or not I'm fully going to, you know, dive into the show. I mean, I probably will, because remember, the haves and the have-nots is going to be going off in a couple episodes, and I don't know what's going to be happening between then and when the show comes back on, so I need to talk about something. But like I said before, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you soon. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you just saw, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, or if you have anything you would like to add to the video, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to keep up with me on social media, go to the description box. All of my links for social media are right there. Also, if you feel like you would like to donate to the channel, make sure to click on the link to PayPal. Any amount helps. $1, $5, $20. As a full-time YouTuber, any support from my fans really does mean a lot to me. Finally, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you're kept up to date on any new content I post to the channel. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next video.